Greetings, YouTube family. Jade the Sage here. And for today's topic of discussion, we're going to be talking about my channeling experience with Azazel. So, a few months back, I first channeled Azazel for the purposes of increasing my magical potency, developing my magical practice, and developing my magical practices even further, and learning all sorts of cool techniques and such. And when I was working with Azazel, the form that he would often come to me as would be fire, straight up fire. And then about a month into our path working, he started manifesting in the form of a large angelic being that was clothed in a nice shiny white robe, long flowing black hair, and he had these huge horns just sticking out of his head, and he had these red reptilian eyes and this pale white skin that was shimmering. And he spoke to me in a baritone kind of a voice, and when I was kind of like, it was kind of like in between like a tenor. It was kind of, how should I say, it had a little bit of a boom to it and whatnot, but it wasn't a very deep voice. And so that's basically what his personality entails and whatnot, is that he's very passionate, he's very noble, he's very warrior-like. I often call him the noble warrior, in my opinion, because that's the impression that he gave off to me, is that he loves combat and he loves war and whatnot, but at the same time, he has a very strong moral code. He does not like bullying of any kind, and he hates the mistreatment of women and children, most importantly of all, is what he told me. So for his specialties, he loves teaching about warfare, any kind of warfare, whether it includes psychic warfare, perhaps you want to learn how to defend yourself magically. He could teach you those things. And he could also help you find astral weaponry. He could also teach you how to forge astral weaponry as well, if you're more of an astral combatant yourself. But one of the things that really drew me in about him is that his magical knowledge is unparalleled. It was kind of hard to differentiate what kind of magical system that he was good at, because he's good at all of them. He could teach you effective love magic, effective wealth magic, effective baneful magic, effective psychic magic, and most importantly, one of my favorites of all and whatnot, effective necromancy. He could teach you all of those things if you're looking to gain more magical knowledge and magical development on your particular path of magic. And another thing that he's really great at is that he's good at enhancing the psychic body and your physical energy, given that he's a very fiery kind of spirit. And those that know the element of fire, it's all about empowerment. And if you're interested in certain subjects like history, mathematics, English, he could teach you that as well. He's very good with the liberal arts, and he's very and he has a very creative side as well. So if you're interested in things like poetry, music, theater, he could teach you those. He could teach you potent forms of illusions and such like that, where when you're acting on stage, you could actually become the character that you're playing as and such, which is very useful, especially within magic. learning how to cloak your work and cloak yourself and whatnot. So one of the things that he loves as offerings is that he loves donuts. Most in particularly, he loves cinnamon donuts, which I often tend to buy at the convenience store just to give to him. And he loves red wine. It's a very strange combination, I know. And then on occasion, he would love certain kinds of meats, like steak and whatnot. And the favorite kinds of incenses that he absolutely loves is myrrh, dragon's blood, sandalwood. He loves those kinds of incenses, and he also loves the smell of cinnamon. Any sort of like fiery herb that you can give him would be greatly appreciated. And he also loves the smell of musk, which is a manly cologne. So as you can already imagine and whatnot, since he's a very masculine, since he's a very warrior kind of spirit, a noble warrior, he's very masculine as well. So if you would want to explore the masculine divinity, you can use him to do that as well. There's really no cap or any particular area besides warfare that he leans more towards. He's good at everything. He's a very well-rounded spirit. And he could also show you some subjects if you happen to not really have a particular focal point, if you will, or a particular interest. He could show you where your interests might lie. He could help point you in the direction of your magical path. He can help get you started off real right. Or I should say in the right direction. If you happen to stumble upon the path, he can help guide you to where you need to go. And another important thing to note for Azazel is that he's very quick to work. So any sort of magic that you have learned from him, or any sort of magic that you're using him for or whatnot, yields very quick results. Especially when doing possession work with him. When possessed fully by him, he can increase your physical strength like no other, to the point where you're literally having energy all throughout the day. You can go through an entire 8-hour shift and whatnot and still not be tired. He's that kind of a spirit. And yeah, if you would really like to work with him, there are many sources of information where you could find a sigil. I'll even post a link down below, a picture of the sigil. Alrighty, thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Take care.